Welcome back, disc golf fans, to round one, back nine coverage of the 2023 MVP Open at Maple Hill, presented by OTB, a disc golf pro tour playoff event, our second and last one before the disc golf pro tour finale. Excited to be out here for the back nine coverage of Maple Hill. I'm Nathan Queen, and joined by Andrew Fish.
And it's really hard not to be excited when you're considering Maple Hill. Consistently one of the highest rated courses in the world, if not the highest, depending on the year. You see there, Eagle McMahon off to a decent start. 2 down overall. And James Proctor, Anthony Barela, and Kyle Klein, a little bit of work to make up. They're sitting at +1 through the front 9.
Yeah, lots of red on those scorecards there. Something we don't really see too often from top caliber players up here, but as we stated before, Maple Hill, very difficult course. Getting into hole 10, another difficult par 3, 377 feet, playing closer to the 450 to 470 foot range as far uphill as it is. Kind of the castle hole, as you've got to get up and over this wall to really have a good putt.
And Barela with his bonus power. You say playing more like 425, 450. I say 773.
Well, Anthony Barela, a 773-foot hyzer up there, pin height.
We have that on record. And Eagle McMahon trying to follow that. Little higher line. And yep, he is right there.
Yeah, you can't draw it up much better than that. They've both moved to the right of that wall where they're not at its steepest point and have almost a flat putt to just a slightly elevated basket.
Klein, a little more inside line. And that's perfectly credible. He's up at about 28 feet or so.
Yeah, and he stayed far enough back off of that wall that it won't be too awkward, just going to be more of an elevated pin. If you get too close to it, it makes it pretty weird.
And very high from James Proctor. He is going to settle down in the middle of the fairway, but pretty much automatic layup. And wild to see the wind pretty much dead at this point after screaming when he was on the tee.
But well executed upshot there. I really need to get up and over that wall, and he put just the right amount of touch on that with the nose up to do so. And Kyle Klein able to keep some good putting going and get back to even again on the round. Second time now, still yet to be under par.
Now, Barela, for about the easiest birdie hole 10 is going to see this weekend, I imagine.
Just about, but Eagle McMahon going to be that 2 inches closer. I guess this is technically a little bit easier.
But pretty wild to see this card play 3 strokes under par on one of the bonus distances. Hole 11, plenty of open space to work with, 804 feet, a downhill par 4. 2 options here. You can try to play to this very shortcut grass field where a short basket position normally plays, and then chip in. Or, depending on the wind, try to rip it really far and shorten your approach shot.
Yeah, it looks like they have a little bit of headwind going on here, so probably trying to get into that big open short grass area. There is some room off to the right in the past. If you can stay in between these Christmas trees and the wood line on the right, there's a bit of room over there.
And AB appears to have found that. Same disc from hole 1. And just enough stability to catch up late and stay out of the woods.
Eagle going pretty much full hyzer here. Very overstable disc, and he's going to move a little bit farther left than you'd like. Misses that open area by just a bit.
And Klein drags a shot with a touch of hyzer to the right, up near the front of the landing zone. And a lot of the holes out here at Maple Hill change every couple years as Christmas trees come and go. It seems like the landing zone has been relatively static here for several years now.
Yeah, this little area right in the middle hasn't ever had those trees there that I can recall. But it gets a little easier or harder as the other ones grow and get cut. Eagle going over top here.
Says he's got no use for that gap. He's just going to go right over top. Proctor playing an overstable shot right up the middle and fights it into C1, left side.
Yeah, faded out just a little bit early, but snuck on through there. Kyle a bit more from the right side. He's looking pretty much straight at this pin. And again, just kind of a severe hyzer release. Looked a little uncomfortable and well off to the left and short. Wow. Look how far Anthony got down here. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, even with the headwind, able to throw putter very slow and controlled into the green.
About all you can do there for Eagle.
Kyle Klein going to try to take a poke at that, but we'll have a comebacker now. And Proctor for birdie.
All right, well needed for Proctor after the tough hole 8 and 9, able to card a birdie here and get his round back to even par.
Yeah, it's been a very colorful scorecard thus far for James Proctor. And Anthony Barela to get back under par also.
Yeah, back-to-back birdies to start this back 9. And just going to be 2 strokes off of Eagle now after he taps in his par. And that will move us into hole 12, a 710-foot par 4. You've got to get your shot up and over these trees or to the left and around and then bending right. I'd like to land somewhere a little right of where the drone is at now. So then you're throwing a bit of an left to right moving shot to counteract the right to left slope of this hill as you fly down that second part of the fairway. Difficult to get in the exact position that you want to be in off of this tee shot.
And Barela with the same disc. Actually going to push down the tunnel a little bit. Left of the true gap, but still rolling and moving. Holy cow.
That's so far down there. It doesn't really matter if you're on the left side at that point. I think you should be able to manufacture your way there.
Yeah, that's where crummy second shots end up, not where amazing first shots.
As James Proctor pulls this a little bit out to the right. Or I didn't mean that in a bad way. He throws that disc out to the right and then fades back. Pretty good shot.
Yeah, a little more station-to-station approach for Proctor. Should have a clean swing down the tunnel.
Thank you.
Eagle has pushed into the woods, but up to the right side. I don't know what he has yet, but I like the idea of being high and right, less than where Barela is at about the same distance.
Yeah, pretty tricky angles up there. There's a few more skinny trees also, so it's going to be harder to traverse around the trees.
And neighbors with James Proctor is Kyle Klein.
So they've got a bit of a hyzer approach over here. Going to want it to stand up just a little bit. This is moving too far to the right and going to kick down into circle 3 area.
Potentially runnable, although there is a ditch about circle's edge behind that becomes a pretty common collection zone for those errant runs. Klein with the forehand attempt and into C2.
Eagle looking at all those small trees and foliage over here. Just gonna kind of pop his wrist and end up down long left of the basket, inside circle one. Gonna be putting back for a birdie. And look at this spot from Anthony Barela. Just jump putting up and gonna tap in a very easy three to card our first turkey of the day.
And last year they moved this tee pad back because Eagle threw it still high and moving in the trees. Now Barela has pretty well broken it.
Kyle looking for the birdie. Just a bit short on that one. Didn't quite get the pop off of the fingers.
Weirdly out of rhythm round for Kyle Klein. Nothing has seemed to come easy for him. And McMahon gonna get a birdie. Moves to 4 under. Proctor, after the missed run on his third, will card the bogey.
And gobble gobble for Anthony Barela as he taps in a very easy birdie. Will move us into hole 13.
Hole 13, 472 feet, downhill par 3. Wind is fairly favorable today, so I would imagine we'll see mostly mids, possibly some putters even. And basket very straight and has actually been pushed back a little bit from previous years and from what the drone is showing here. That 15 feet makes a slight bit of difference in what approaches are considered viable.
AB looks to be going either putter or mid here. And catches one of the last trees that you could catch that bounces him off to the left, but still looks to be right around circle's edge.
McMahon, once again, ignoring the gap. Going to try to go big high hyzer to the right side.
And he's going to end up long of the basket. I know this is pretty well downhill, but that's still a pretty good amount of power to get over top of those trees, which are at least, I would say, at least 100 feet tall.
And Kyle Klein gonna follow Anthony Barela. This isn't quite drifting. Oh, there comes some late drift.
And a beautiful shot, as you called it, catching the very late drift on a hyzer most of the flight and still able to turn up and drift right. Looks like it might have gotten rooted and didn't quite get the slide that he wanted, but very well executed.
And Proctor overturned, but still getting full distance.
Thing's still going.
Oh boy.
I can't say with confidence that anybody's been in this position before throwing 2.
Yeah, I still can't even tell you where he was at. Look, is this him again?
Yeah, it sure is. And that's circle 2 putter doing work for Eagle McMahon.
We've had some incredible par putts here on this card so far this round.
You hate to see it being for par, but you love to see it go in.
Yeah. Here's another angle of Eagle's par putt after being long twice on hole 13.
Grabbing just a couple chains on the right side to drop in, keep his good round moving.
Kyle, after a great drive, just a little bit low, just outside circle 1 here.
And to me, that's the difference in this basket being pushed 15 feet or so. Being in the ditch used to be great, and now it's circle's edge.
Yeah, caused Kyle to miss that putt as Proctor pretty obstructed there on that bid, not quite able to convert. Anthony Barela, our last chance here for birdie.
And little high, little left. I'd like to see
know.
that one go in.
Yeah, I thought that one was good.
I think the uphill trajectory, similar to what he had missed on hole 2, kind of keeps that on the left side. Proctor able to convert. And Kyle Klein going to try to find some footing here.
Yeah, that wall is new back there, yeah?
It is. Brand new retaining walls haven't even been fully backfilled yet. And a pretty wild all par frame.
Moves us to the 14th. A very iconic hole here. Par 3, 440 feet water carry. Punch your fairway driver out straight and let it fade into this hillside. That sounds easy, however, it is not. Very easy to get too far left on this one, trying to avoid the water. This looks low.
And it was.
But it was short enough to catch a nice skip and not hit that wall. He looks to be maybe inside circle 1.
Yeah, potentially. Pretty favorable wind today. Slight tail left to right, right to left. Helps drag those discs back in.
As Eagle McMahon moving all the way across that water. He's going to be left side, putting right back at the water around circle's edge.
Klein, pretty good width, gets us up to flat at the apex.
Yeah, I like the width on this one, and it's still going to end up pushing back to the left side, but looks to check up pretty nicely.
And no hat James. Really like to get something going. Not that many holes that are scoreable left. And quite the dance in the air for James, as he's going to be in circle 2 putting back at the water.
Yeah, it looks like he trusted a bit more understable disc there than the rest of the players, causing it to jump up and down like that in the wind. As Anthony Barela does give it a pretty strong bid for the angle that he had, but just a bit left side.
And Proctor nubs it in. Back to even at long last.
Yeah, what a fight for a couple of these players out here. Kyle Klein, one of them, still trying to get under par for the first time on the round, and just a little bit low there.
And McMahon moving pretty quickly in all of this setup, it seems like. But able to convert.
Yeah, smooth putt right in the center for the lone birdie on the card. 18 birdies on the day today. This hole did average pretty much right at par at a 3.01.
Once again, favorable wind and the drop zone only about 45 feet or so. Hole 15, 322 feet. Over a valley, fairly narrow. are the trees lining the fairway. There are a couple different options here, but I imagine we'll see mostly backhand flip-ups, slight force-over possible.
Yeah, I like shots like this. Really make you hit the line the entire flight. There's not a whole lot of sneaking. There is a little bit of room on the right side you can sneak through that Eagle McMahon does not find there very early. Going to be in a tough scramble position.
Proctor unable to get the disc all the way to flat. So he too will have to scramble from the valley. And just like hole 4 kind of being a change up after some really hard power holes, you have to disc down after throwing several distance shots.
See if Kyle can hit this fairway. And all 4 players are unable to convert off of the tee pad to give themselves a birdie look. Gonna have 4 scramble chances here.
Come on!
And not done there. Eagle's still gonna have a lot more work to do.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of difficulty navigating the more tightly wooded holes where he's forced to hit a gap. 7, 9, and now 15. Works his way up into C2 for a 4 putt now.
Yeah, interesting to see him struggle on these tighter holes. He's been putting a lot of work into that backhand. And it's something that he maybe would have used the forehand on in the past.
And Barela spins Catch Cam Dave around very slowly after a slow jump putt attempt. And Proctor this time can't save the par with a long putt.
Eagle McMahon now looking for the bogey save. Is able to connect. Still solid on that putting green. Only going to use, excuse me, only going to lose 1 stroke.
And here is Proctor trying to come back for a 4.
Man, that got well away from the basket on that long bid on the last one. And as you said, a bit uncharacteristic from James today. Kind of all over the place, it seems like.
Barela does make good on his 3, and this is Klein to do the same.
Man, and just pulls it off slightly right side. Maybe just a little extra hitch in that warm up there. I'm not sure.
And this time playing very quickly, high and centered.
Moves us into hole 16, 476 foot, very downhill par 3. Pretty iconic or famous video from this hole in the past. Maybe one of the better aces that we've seen before. But very straight shot. Again, just a difficult tee shot to execute. One of those shots where if you hit it right and get yourself in circle 2, then you feel pretty good about yourself.
Barela Hits hard on the right side and boosts left. Does appear to have stayed in bounds, but that might be the nicest thing we can say about it. And we'll see how the rest of the card navigates 16 after the much simpler 15 proved challenging.
Yeah, this gap's slightly larger, but much longer as well. Bringing in the downhill, your nose angle's got to be correct to not get too much drift off to the right or catch hyzer early.
Good looking shot by Kyle Klein, cut down in its prime, so he's going to have to lay up. Should have made most of the work done.
James trying to bounce back again after getting to even. Cards the double bogey on 15. Looks like he may have gotten out into the open there.
And tell you what, Barela working with all of the left side on his approach as well. But into circle one, we'll have a chance to save the par.
Yeah, that was a little scary following that OB line. A little kick could have caused him a few strokes quickly.
McMahon tries to spin it in. We'll settle for the par. And Klein from about the same distance.
Give it to me.
Man, looked to be on a pretty good line. Just a little bit right, though. As James was able to find his way out into the open, and he's cleaned up that putt on this one. Let's take a look at it again from the other angle.
Little bit of wobble, but he seemed to know it about 2/3 of the way there.
You want to hear a pretty crazy number again?
Is it in terms of number of people birdieing this?
Yeah.
When I started coming here 10 years ago, this was hard. This was an impossible hole. How many people got it today?
16 people. 16 people were able to birdie this hole. That is more than bogeys.
Yep, sounds right. Everybody's got fairway driver that they can snap up to flat. Just impressive work by the field.
Yeah, and although there were more birdies than bogeys, a few of those are double bogeys or above, and this hole did still average just slightly over par.
Hole 17, 636 feet, a par 4. Initial gap shot. Needs to then drag pretty far right over top of some Christmas trees as there is out of bounds to the left as well as long. Gentle right turn down the tunnel to an elevated basket, and new this year, the OB continues down the tunnel a little ways before bailing out to the left. Good looking shot here from Proctor. This might turn perhaps a little bit too much, but still should be out in the open with a chance to throw a turnover shot.
Yeah, with that new OB line pushing left, that seems like it might pinch him off pretty well, and we'll see how aggressive he's able to get. This also looks to be turned over.
Slight right to left wind, maybe helping slam the discs down to the ground, but we'll see what McMahon gets off of those two reads.
Also turned over, but started it out a bit farther to the left. May have gotten caught up early, though, in those pines.
And Kyle Klein looks like the best shot of the group to my eye. Drags it to the right and then fights back to the left. Should be staring straight down the tunnel, not more than 180, 200 feet.
Yeah, I liked the height on that one, giving it the late stability at the end.
And pretty decent shot by Eagle. Should be inside circle one, possibly obstructed on the right side.
And AB is pretty far right, but still going to go with that forehand. Looks to have a zone up there and going to be stopped a little bit short. Long downhill putt. The big drop off behind it.
I like the backhand, even when you are this pinch, to be gliding out instead of fading hard, as Proctor able to hit the middle of the fairway and will sneak a putt out of it.
And as you called, Kyle looking straight down that fairway and able to take advantage of it. Executes that second shot nicely. Going to be inside circle one, looking at a birdie.
And all things considered, the best miss Barela could have had.
And big hit from Eagle McMahon, circle two. Had to straddle and kind of squatting to get underneath some branches there. Big connection to get him back to 5 under par.
And James Proctor battles all the way back to even. He's done that a handful of times.
Yeah, last 4 holes. Whew. That's a bit of a ride, but he is fighting his way along with Kyle Klein, who also close to that handful of times, getting himself back to even. Well, we've made it to the final hole, the 18th hole here at Maple Hill. 640-foot par 4. There's a little bit of new OB for your second shot, as you see here. You've got the OB tighter on the left side. Island green for your second shot. If you cross the island and go OB, you then go to a drop zone. Otherwise, play it where it last went out. 2 difficult shots here. You've really got to get 400 plus feet off of the tee to be in position to attack this green. Then, like I said, it's a small island, so difficulty again there on the second.
Yeah, absolutely. That uphill sneaks up on you, and it's hard to put yourself in a great position to make the angle of the green attackable. McMahon high and turned early. And fights through quite a lot of stuff on that right side into a great spot.
Yeah, he's going to be in a fantastic spot now. Go backhand or forehand into the green, whatever he's feeling comfortable with.
What I had heard last week is that he was throwing forehands at only about 55% power, and it seems like what we've seen in this round, that's borne out. Klein with a drifting shot to the right, and also fights through to a pretty credible spot.
Yeah, not quite as far as Eagle got. Maybe in that land where you have to make a decision whether you want to go for it or not.
And Anthony Barela, hyzer release. Might even be a mid-range. He's gliding out to the left side. And gonna find the out of bounds.
Yeah, even with the slower disc, still too much speed on that one. Or really not enough turnover was the mistake.
Get in.
And getting aggressive here, this can lead to danger. But it has not for Anthony Barela. He's given himself a chance to save the par.
Yeah, I tell you what, the get in must have done the job.
Kyle also going aggressive here, and it works out pretty nicely for him as he missed and was still able to land in bounds.
Only about 25 feet of runway beyond that lone pine. Proctor going to come up short, just sawed off too much. And Eagle will go with the backhand.
Yeah, and able to disc down for this, being so far up that fairway.
And a lot of ground action as he tried to go overstable to flatten it out. But we'll be putting for bird. Klein's third now.
Dealing with those branches, goes with something very understable so he can just kind of flick his wrist around the corner, and well executed for Kyle Klein. Never getting under par on the round, going to be able to fight his way to even. And James Proctor had tried to do that a few times this round, and he has tossed that away here on the 18th.
Yeah, pretty disgusted, I'm sure, with this finish. Just stacking up too many out of bounds on hole 18. And McMahon closes out at 6 under par, ties for 4th place overall.
Yeah, nice birdie to finish his round. Anthony Barela gonna finish 2 under par. Not too bad of a round out here at Maple Hill, as it seems to continually get a bit harder as they make these small changes.
Yeah, a little tighter, a little longer every year, it seems like. There it is, Eagle McMahon leading the pack at 6 under, and then a 2, an even, and a 3 up for James Proctor. But that's just round 1 of 4 here, Nathan.
It is. We've got Eagle McMahon, Andrew Marweed, Luke Taylor, and Ricky Wysocki for our round 2 tomorrow. So more exciting players to watch. As you said, we've got 4 rounds out here for this Disc Golf Pro Tour playoff event at Maple Hill. Thank you guys for joining us for the round 1 coverage. Make sure you tune in, like, and subscribe to Gatekeeper Media. We'll see you out here for round 2. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.